everyone, welcome back to another In Bed episode. Today's guest is Immy from her channel Sustainably Vegan.
I never thought to heat Oatly up.
The first time we had this was outside the Bernard Matthews turkey slaughterhouse in Norfolk in December. It was effing cold. And at the Norfolk vigils, there's these sisters, and they always arrange loads of food. Like, I mean loads, like crazy amounts for a vigil. And they stay up until silly o'clock the night before doing it all.
That's so good. That's so nice, isn't it?
And they had these 2 massive flasks of Oatly, and so they handed one to me, and because I was really cold, but now I always associated it with like comfort and even though it's not a very nice place where I had it for the first time, but it was like a nice gesture. And so welcome to bed.
Thank you for having me.
How does it feel to be in bed with me?
Surprisingly like comfortable and nice.
And me and Frida, actually. It's not just me, is it? There's 2 of us interviewing you today.
Me and Frida are now pals, so
yeah, you've been spending a lot of time together.
So what brings you to the north?
So yesterday, HeartCure Clothing, Jordan and Georgia held a zero waste market, and they asked me to do a talk, which was really fun. So it was really nice to be able to come and actually meet a different part of even the vegan movement that I could have never really spent time with before. So it was nice to come up here and just experience the first serious market. I think this is the first one we've ever had in the UK.
Yeah, I think it was, yeah.
Which is very exciting.
And what was your talk about and how did it go?
Are you interested? Maybe if we sit you,
there we go.
Then you can look at us. So I decided I wanted to talk about kind of the role of us as individuals in trying to tackle this problem of zero waste. Because a lot of people come to me and they say, how can I make a difference because I'm just one person? And I thought it was really important to understand how to individualise or personalise this movement, because it's not like veganism where you have a very personal connection to an animal or seeing animals being slaughtered or etc. So I wanted to find a way to make zero waste less kind of cold and impersonal. But I mean, I ended up rambling like I usually do for a long time. But I also talked about sort of doing a 30-day zero waste challenge last year, which helped people to understand their waste, what they're wasting, and like how they can make some kind of changes. So yeah, I kind of focused it around that, but inevitably I went off on many a tangent.
Actually, a question I should have asked you before that, just to premise this video, is in case anyone's watching the channel and you haven't heard of the wonderful Immy and her channel Sustainably Vegan, can you give a little outline as to what your channel's about, what you do?
Yeah, so my channel is all about merging zero waste and veganism, because I think that they're truly intersectional. Like I think that they're essentially the same movement, just coming at it from different angles. Because if you're vegan, you care about the animals and environmental and probably health. And if you're coming at it from zero waste, like you also care about the animals, the plastic in the ocean that are killing marine life, and you care about the environment that's being destroyed and the people who are, you know, suffering from toxic fumes from plastic around the world, who had no part to play in our consumerism and our convenience. So it's a kind of a platform to talk about both issues and how they're so interlinked, and to try and get some zero wasters to understand actually how important food waste is, and within food waste, animal agriculture. So it's a good kind of sly way of getting it in there. But yeah, it's just a nice platform to try and get lots of information out there about 2 very big problems that seem to be quite interlinked.
That's great. So your channel's called Sustainably Vegan, but in your videos you're not really diehard with the vegan message.
No.
It's kind of, it's in there, but it's kind of lingering in the background, because you said when we were chatting about this earlier that your audience is predominantly non-vegans actually.
Yeah, definitely. I think that my approach is because it's something that I really like to talk about, veganism and stuff, but it's so much nicer when it's kind of just an assumed type thing in my videos. So people know that I'm vegan, and it makes a lot of people who aren't vegan from what I've gathered from the comments, feel more comfortable to ask me about it, because they know that I'm not going to judge them. They know that I'll support them and say, like, thank you for being interested. It's great that you've even bothered to comment. So it's just, I don't know, it's also just a different approach, and it's what you're happy to do.
Yeah.
It's, you know, some people are much better at saying, like, I'm vegan and you have to be vegan. And I can't stand up to, like, the negative comments that I would get. I would just crumble underneath that. So I just try to be like, hey, why don't you think about veganism? It's a really great way to reduce your waste.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just my tact, because that's the only thing I feel comfortable kind of approaching it with.
But it's obviously working really well, because I've noticed, I think it was last week, your subs have like exploded recently.
I know, but it's because I made an ultimate beginner's guide.
Okay, you think that was like the video?
I mean, it 100% was.
Oh wow, okay.
It's got over 300,000 views now.
Oh wow.
Which I was not expecting.
When did you make it?
I made it 3 months ago.
Okay.
And it sort of like blew up, and I got from 20 to 30,000.
Wow, yeah.
And then it slowed down. And then over the last week, I've got 100,000 views on it.
Wow.
And it went straight back up, so it's quite terrifying.
But that just goes to show how many people are searching for zero waste, which is really exciting.
Yeah, and it's great just to have a lot of resources just in one video. And I'm not in the video, it's just a very just like informational thing about, here are just different everyday swaps that you can make and things to think about. But I think in future I'll make one with chapters so people can just skip to it.
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea.
But also it's only 8 minutes, so it's not as though you're dedicating a lot of your time to it.
No.
But yeah, there's so much information. But then it's also just not about me. So I think it's a good like all-rounder. Also not telling people you have to do this. It's
Yeah,
like,
sure.
here are your options.
It's like suggestions for things that they can change in their life.
Exactly.
So at the Zero Waste Market yesterday, you gave your talk, was received very well. I saw lots of people coming up to you after and asking you questions and being receptive, because it wasn't all it was on all vegans there as well.
Yeah, there were lots of other non-vegans, I think.
Yeah, it was like a mix of sellers, which was really cool. Did you buy anything? Did you find anything interesting?
Well, it's funny enough, I had most of the things that were on offer, but I did buy a HeartCure Clothing t-shirt, because I find that it's much more kind of my activism, like the t-shirt, just saying like, live like you give a F. Beep. Beep. Rather than being like, I am a vegan.
Yeah.
Because I only like to wear those t-shirts to my gym just to be annoying. But
as the vegan in the gym.
As the vegan in the gym.
Yeah.
But it's a nice t-shirt just to kind of like wear around generally that people can see.
And it's made from
100% recycled materials. There's organic cotton and plastic bottles.
Which is awesome. Actually, I had a feel of this t-shirt yesterday because I was eyeing it up and didn't buy one. And it just felt amazing. Like it's super soft.
Yeah. And it's nice because when you do buy things that are new, it's nice to have a very measured approach to them. So like I wouldn't buy something new that's not, you know, sustainable. And also I'm directly giving money to a good cause.
Yeah,
like
sure.
Something that's going to be doing something that's in line with my values as well. So yeah, I think that's the first new thing I've bought in quite a while actually.
Yeah, because I watched your video of like your favourite secondhand vegan zero waste things, and this cardigan featured, and it's really cool.
Yes, I do love this.
Just tell the story.
Well, it was my granny's cardigan, and she had obviously wonderful style. And I did just say to her, I was like, "Oh, this is great," and she made a joke. She was like, "Oh, when I pass, you can have it."
Oh,
I know. So now I should like to wear it because I'm like, "Oh, I mean, it's so great, and it's so cool, and it's secondhand."
It is great. We like secondhand too. Yeah, I find secondhand stuff for her. So this is a little secondhand vest.
Yeah, it's great. She looks like a little Christmas elf.
We're getting ready for Christmas.
Yay!
You're all in green.
The magic of Christmas. I was saying to your mum actually yesterday, I feel like Christmas seems more magical again when you have children.
Yeah, definitely. They bring it.
Especially because, as you were saying in your talk about Christmas presents, rather than at this age as well, it's not necessarily about the presents, it's more, or you can make it about kind of just spending time together and making this time of year just seem very magical because it's all like Christmassy and family.
That might be becoming her key to exit. Come on, Christmas elf.
No, she's so small.
So this
was a little bit wet from Frida.
It's really wet. So I got 4 of these really cool coasters yesterday, and the brand is called Scavenger, and so she makes things from salvaged climbing rope.
It's really cool that it's just like naturally really nice patterns.
Yeah. I was chatting to her for a while because I just loved her stuff, because she had some like pouches that you could use for, I don't know, like a purse or a bigger one for a travel document. She had belts, because Andrew got a belt. I got him a belt because I thought they were amazing. And yeah, you can wash them. But she was explaining that a lot of the climbing rope that's salvaged from like the 80s in particular, it's really funky.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah,
I can imagine.
So I kind of think some of this might have been 80s climbing rope. But what a great idea.
How did she find it, did she say?
No, I didn't ask her that. Actually, would have been a question to ask her.
Well, only because you said the 80s. I'm like, where is that stuff like stored?
Yeah, true. Where is it kept? I'm glad.
Anyone knows.
Yeah, I'm glad it is kept though, because I don't know. They're really awesome and unique, and every coaster is different. So I had a great time picking these. But I like things that you can wash. I know I'm gonna use them, because coasters become quite tatty really quickly, don't they?
Also, I mean, let's be honest, like back in the 80s or whatever, they probably made items that were more hard wearing and that were actually meant to last us. Otherwise, like now they make stuff that's just kind of like a year's life expectancy or something.
Yeah, and then we chuck it out and get a new one, but not on your channel.
But not on my channel.
So you made a video, I'm not sure how recently you made it, but it was about can you be zero waste and eat meat?
I said eat animal products.
Okay, cool.
Because I wanted it to be
everything.
Yeah,
awesome, yeah.
I wanted it to be everything, and also not be like, this is a vegan like video.
Yeah, okay.
It's just like questioning, like, can you possibly do it? And I spent a lot of hours on this video because I thought, if I'm going to bring up a controversial topic that I don't usually do, I need to do it well so that I can defend anything really well, like any points that I've made, show like good reason as to why I put it in, etc., etc. So that I, have a nice little bulletproof barrier just to make sure that I haven't made any mistakes. Yeah. But I was actually so surprised at how receptive people were, because obviously, as you said, most of my followers aren't strictly vegan. Lots of them are making really great changes, becoming vegetarian, looking into vegan diets, making more like choices. But I think I'm quite happy with my approach that I took, because people said, thank you for showing us how wasteful this industry really is, and why it's important to look at every different aspect of our lives. And so obviously, I had a few people commenting who were like trying to defend their choices, and I always try and bring it back to, like, I'm not attacking you, and it's not about defending your choices. It's simply trying to find better alternatives that might be, something that you can change. But I was quite happy with people's reactions to it. Yeah, it seemed. I know I have watched that video. I know I have, and you were very diplomatic in your approach, but then you also didn't seem to kind of give loads of leeway. Like, you didn't say it's okay. You were very much like, it's not, and this is why. And I think because you could tell that you'd researched that video with all the information. I know that you pulled it, but it's important to do that when, as you said, when you bring up a controversial topic, and then you're ready for any comments. Yeah, because I don't want to leave myself open to, like, myself being like stupid and ignorant at making comments that just have no scientific back or any kind of research or database that can back up what I'm saying. It's so important that people on social media and on platforms like YouTube are very forthcoming and honest about the stuff that they say, because you have to realise, if you have any kind of following, people take what you say as like gospel. Yeah, sure. So you have a responsibility. So even with that, like, I felt really proud when I was reading all the comments, and also really happy when I was reading the research, because I was like, I am right. Yes. What I am saying is right. It was great. But it was good. It's a good approach, I think. Yeah, no, it seems to work really well. So it's good. I'm glad that you brought it up. I think it was about time that I brought it up, because you just can't not talk about it if you are thinking about living a zero waste lifestyle. Yeah. It's just such a fundamental part of your day. I mean, people eat 3 times a day, most probably every day. If you're not thinking about every aspect of it, then you're not really committing to trying to live sustainably. And from your experience as both a vegan
and as someone, you know, reducing her waste as much as possible, going zero waste, would you say that it's harder to be zero waste?
Oh my God.
It's harder to be vegan? Or what's your opinion?
I now say to people, like, going vegan is not hard.
No.
Going zero waste is incredibly difficult.
Yeah.
And it's the same kind of thing. Like, with your thinking, you have to change the way you think and feel about food. And with food, I felt it was more of an emotional contact that I had with it. But then once you kind of, it's much easier and more personal to change, as I was saying earlier, about your vegan diet. But with zero waste, you have to change your daily rituals, your daily habits, how you even think about consumerism and consumption. And you have to question everything that you're buying. Do I need this? Like, is it valuable? Is it secondhand? What waste has gone in? Because 95% of the waste happens in production, not even after you've discarded your item. So every time you buy something, you have to really think, do I need this item? Where has this item come from? Is it ethically sourced, sustainably sourced? How will I dispose of it after I've done, like, using it? And that takes a lot of effort.
Yeah, no, definitely.
A lot of brain power.
Yeah, and lots of research. And I mean, it's the same with me, really, like becoming vegan first and then thinking, oh, that's a massive switch to make. And then gradually over these last couple of years, getting into zero waste and realising it's just not, things around us are not set up to live free from plastic.
I know. And it's really absurd because we've gone in this massive, big circle. Like, I was talking to this Swedish brewing company who came to London, and one of them was saying that when she came to London, when she was much younger, when she was a teenager, she babysat for a family and they used cotton diapers. And she said that was just the norm. You always used reusable ones. And then we've gone through this massive shift into convenience, which is really just, we want to make money off these items, so we're going to pose it to you as this is the most convenient, easiest and cheapest way of doing it. And now we've got back to this stage where people like you are starting to realise that actually reusable is better, because think about how many times, like, you have to change Frida's nappy every day. Imagine how many of those you're having to throw away. I mean, as you said, 7 million nappies a day is just astonishing.
That's only in the UK, by the way. That's disgusting. 2.5 billion a year in the UK, like,
and we're a small country.
Yeah, think of all the countries together with all the babies in the world.
Think about America. You don't have access to free birth control. That's a lot of babies and a lot of nappies.
That's true. Yeah, hallelujah for birth control.
But I mean, it's just crazy how life works like this. Like, we're just going in massive circles of realising the way people did it in the olden times is actually
much better
for the environment before we were riddled with advertising.
You know, I was talking to my dad last week about you know, buying things in bulk and how it's coming back and how there's different shops popping up around the country, and there's a couple in London now, and then there's the guys down in Dorset, and I was explaining to him the ethos behind it. And my dad's from Mauritius, for anyone who doesn't know, if I haven't mentioned it in any videos for a while. And he was explaining that that's just how they did it when he was a child. You know, my dad's in his 60s, so it's not that long ago, really. And people used to take their own bags and jars to buy flour and rice. And so when I was explaining about all these people who are bringing that back to the UK, he was just like, wow, it's just like the olden days. I was like, yeah, it is just like the olden days. And he thinks it's quite twee, I guess, that I use reusable nappies. He thinks I think he thinks I'm a bit odd. Because of the way you know, disposable is set up to be more convenient, like you mentioned.
But they're not more economical.
No, definitely not.
You just waste your money.
You spend way more,
just throwing it away.
Yeah. And over the course of the time that your child needs to be in nappies, it is more expensive buying disposables over those 2 years or however long it takes them to be potty trained. But people don't think of the long term. The reason Frida is back is because the camera stopped recording. So we have another 10 minutes, but not with visual, just with audio. So we're going to put a link below to the final 10 minutes of the interview. So if you would like to keep listening to where we left off,
This is us returning to the bed after realising that the last 10 minutes, the visual is not sad day.
But what we were talking about was how exciting 2017 has been for zero waste movement. And there have been 4 zero waste shops that are opening this year and 1 next year. And the first one, we've got the one in Devon that you've probably heard of, in Taunton.
So they've also released a guide on their website, which is really, really cool. They're a vegan couple. They also have a baby. I think they have a girl as well, like under the age of 1. Snap. And we've been looking at their guide on the website, and it's so helpful. They literally give a rundown of where they buy their stock from, all the pitfalls, everything they've learned. And I think that's incredible. It just goes to show what an awesome community this is.
Yeah, it's a really great way of just kind of like giving without wanting anything back, just to aid the movement in the community, which is really lovely. And then you've got Bulk Market in East London. And then Hetu, which is opening soon on I think the 1st of December in southwest London in Clapham, which is great because you've got 2 nice and spread out in London.
So as not to be competing with each other, right?
Yeah, so to add to community rather than competing. Then you've got Zero Waste Club, which is in the midst of opening. They kind of like have a Kickstarter right now because it's going to be completely online.
Yeah. So if you don't have a bulk store near you, this would be a way for you to shop bulk online.
Yeah, all in the UK, which is really great. And then the last one
is going to be in Sheffield by March 2018, and it will be in the HeartCure Collective Social Centre. What's the street? Near
West Street?
Near West Street in the centre of Sheffield, thank you. And the Collective is a space that is being organised at the moment by HeartCure Clothing. And that's also the t-shirt that Emmy was talking about earlier, the one from Selvage Cotton.
Yeah.
So they're really awesome, ethical clothing brands, vegan couple, Jordan and Georgia. And the social centre is going to have a cafe, it's going to have a stage at the back, going to have a space for computers and like workstations, it's going to have a room downstairs that you can hire, and then upstairs it's going to have the HeartCure Clothing store, and then it's also going to have Zero Hero, which will be the first bulk, completely plant-based zero waste shop in the north of England. So
Frida's very excited about it, as you can tell.
Oh, and it's also going to be run by me and Andrew and Frida. So it's the shop that we're opening by March next year. Yay! So if you want to watch the rest of the video, well, not the rest of the interview, then follow. She's all right. If you want to watch the rest of the interview, then follow the link below. And I'll thank you again, Emmy, for being on the show. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for having me.
It's been a lot of fun talking to you.
Yes, it has.
It's been fun. See you in the next one, guys.
Bye.
When full, it will contain 250 millilitres. It has a spray top, which I really recommend because then you can spray the toner evenly and distribute it all over your face. You don't need any of those like little pads because that actually wastes toner in my opinion. And then 3 ingredients, as I mentioned. The first one is apple cider vinegar. Yeah, she's excited about this one. So apple cider